Hello, everyone. This is Carrie with Unicorn Company. First of all, I want to begin the news with an announcement. Recently, Craig Gullidge, the executive officer of the Catalyst demo team, passed away. While I never personally met him, he was active in the community and with the demo team, and he helped to spread the word about the game that we all love. He was also the author of the newest Spotlight on release, Manyfold Paths, that follows a Comguard unit from the Battle of Tukid through the Great Refusal and the Word of Blake Jihad. The sourcebook is on sale on the Catalyst web store for $3.99, and a portion of each purchase will be donated to Craig's family to help with his final expenses. Among other news and announcements is the release of Interstellar Operations Alternate Eras and Interstellar Operations Battle Force. These are each available on the web store. Alternate Eras is $14.99 for PDF only and $44.99 for PDF and print copy. Battle Force is $19.95 for PDF only and $49.99 for print and PDF. There are plans to release a counter pack soon for the Battle Force rules, so you'll have all the counters. There is no date or price shown on these yet. Additionally, for those of us lucky enough to be at Adepticon while I record this, you will be able to get your hands on Technical Readout Dark Age, a compilation of mechs from Technical Readouts 3067, 3075, 3085, 3145, 3150, Irregulars, and Prototypes. Hopefully this product will be reaching normal retail distribution soon. Catalyst will also attempt to have 4 of the Alien Worlds map packs available for sale at their booth as well. Finally, a new novel, Dragon Rising, set in the Dark Age by Ilsa J. Black, covering the rise of Katana Tormark and her ascent to the position of Warlord of Daron, is on sale now as well. And that is in print on demand and PDF only through Amazon. So, I don't have a script for most of today, and the reason for that is because we are going to be covering tactics in regards to Alpha Strike and the use of lances. I know over the past few weeks we've gone ahead and talked about the different kinds of lances, their roles, what they do, how they work, and all that. I want to go ahead and finally sort of put all that into perspective and give you an idea of, the tactics and strategy that you might use with those. So today we're going to start off with a classic, and it is the combination of the Fire Support Lance, the Recon Lance, and the Battle Lance. So this is a very effective combination in Alpha Strike. It's actually what I took to the tournament in Tennessee a few years back and completely swept the tournament. It essentially lets you have the Recon Lance, which for the most part, what I would use it for is for spotting, for obviously for the fire support elements. But in doing so, I would use it in a way that I didn't use Forward Observer so much as I used the ability, I think it was Maneuvering Ace, the ability that lets you go through woods, which is amazing. So those two abilities linked up are the primary part of the force. And usually I wouldn't stick to like really heavy, slow moving fire support units, more stuff that has moderate to quick speed, a decent amount of indirect fire, and, is just capable of repositioning as needed to keep line of sight blocked between it and other enemy units. Meanwhile, the recon elements use speed to essentially dodge fire and call in fire support on single targets at a time to eliminate them from the battlefield. So between these two, you have the Battle Lance. And while I'm a big fan of like the Cavalry Lance, because it gives me a little bit more speed on some units, the utility is not there when you compare it to the Battle Lance. The Battle Lance is just by far superior, which is why in the Unicorn 500 rule set that I'm building, you can only have one of each type of lance. That way you can't take 3 Battle Lances and just have all the lucky. But that one Battle Lance does a lot of work, especially given that it lets you reroll your attacks, and in doing so, it just makes you way, way more effective at hitting targets. So, essentially with that, you would use the Recon Lance, obviously, for reconnaissance. But the Battle Lance, you would use essentially as I'm saying essentially too much, I apologize. But you'd use the Battle Lance to draw fire. It's not a pleasant job for them to have. So you're going to want stuff that has a decent target move modifier, usually stuff that has 10 inches of move, so it has at least a two target movement modifier. That way your opponent's not attacking you on a TMM of 1, because for that, yeah, you soak up damage, but it adds up really quick. The TMM of 2 does a little bit to mitigate that. And overall, you go with decently speedy, heavy-hitting units, such as like the Nova H or the Vulture C, I think it is. I think it's the Vulture C. But you go with like heavy-hitting, fast units, almost glass cannons, because they're going to burn through the lucky ability quickly, but they're going to take a lot of stuff with them. Meanwhile, your fire support units stay in the back until it's absolutely necessary for them to come out and actually play. And by that time, hopefully you've softened everything up enough to where they're going to be able to finish things off. And if you're lucky, you'll still have 1 or 2 recon unit mechs left, and they can backstab and just kind of get in there to mess with your opponent. A variation on this is obviously to take the Cavalry Lance instead of the Battle Lance. The problem with this setup is that you do run into the problem of, you're kind of exposed. You are going to have roughly the same modifiers as the Battle Lance would have had, and you don't have the extra hitting ability. You don't even get a modifier for the plus two movement to your TMM, which I think if you did on Speed Demon, it would add a bit of utility to that, because you could take like a speed, a speed 10 mech, speed 12 mech, push it up to 14, and then suddenly you have something that's having a 3 target move. But I also understand the reason for that, because you could also put like a really crazy mech in there that has like a 3 or a 4 already, and just watch it go to town with a plus 5 or a plus 4 TMM, which would not be fun for anybody. Well, it wouldn't be fun for the people on the receiving end of it, but on the giving end, yes, it would kind of be a little bit fun. Other than that, I did want to go ahead and, kind of touch on what's going on over at Unicorn Company here with the Trevor project, with the raffle that we're doing. So I know I haven't put a lot of time towards the tactics in there, but there's not a lot to put in there, really. Before I go into the Trevor project stuff, there's really not a lot to put into the tactics. It's more efficiently using cover for your fire support units, and also for the recon units, keeping them in woods because they can walk through them at their leisure, and just making sure you don't get completely plastered at some point. So a lot of maneuver, fire maneuver, cover. Just keep yourself from getting cornered and stuff like that. One good type of unit to use in this situation are VTOLs, because you can take a VTOL and just stick that sucker up at elevation 20, and it can see the world, like the whole world. But yeah, and of course, it's interesting in how that combination works and how effective it is. I have tried others, and quite frankly, nothing really comes close to it. But yeah, so anyway, let's go ahead and talk about the Trevor project as well. As you all know, we have you may know, we have a raffle going on for the Trevor project. As it stands right now, we have support from multiple companies. I don't have them all listed in front of me, but the ones that come to mind immediately are Death Ray Designs, Ares Games and Miniatures, and I forgot the other one. Death Ray Designs, Aries Games and Miniatures, and what's the last one? I just forgot it. That's horrible. Oh, Fortress Games and Miniatures. All of whom are awesome um, people who are helping out with this, and I really do appreciate it. Also, I do have the artists who are helping, and they are turning in some amazing work. I will, as soon as I can, I will start posting on some groups about all the prizes and everything that are available. So far, we received 7 force packs, one of which may get cannibalized to fill out the unit, leaving 6 force packs as secondary prizes, as well as each of which would come with a poster. And it's the retail poster, for those of you who are curious. And of course, also there's I have 2 sets of dice, one from Death Ray, one from Aries. And then of course you have, there is terrain. I'm going to be printing it. So the terrain is being provided by a person who has his stuff on Hardware Studios. I can't remember his name off the top of my head right now, and I should have notes with me, and I so apologize for not having them. But yeah, his buildings, in talking to him, he does it in, as he described it, Soviet brutalism, which, if you have any idea what that means, it's like the really big, chunky, really, really industrial buildings, like utilitarian. There's not much to them that is like far future or anything like that. It's the kind of stuff you might actually expect to see in like a clan world. I'm going to be printing off 2 sets, a smaller set that is specifically as a secondary prize, and a larger set that will go with the Clan Novacat G Galaxy unit that is being raffled off. And that unit right now, we're probably looking at, given everything that everybody is donating and all the work that everyone's doing, I think we're going to hit trinary. I think it's going to be a trinary of units. So you're looking at 45 units overall. And, it's something that I think is pretty awesome that, we're able to do this and get this all organized and together, and, something that's for a very good cause. And, I really do believe that the Battletech community is full of awesome people, and we can help raise a good amount of money for this charity. So if you want to go ahead and get involved as far as being able to win some of the units for the raffle, or some of the stuff for the raffle, what you do is you go to the Trevor Project website, and when you're there, you donate at least a minimum of $5. And for every $5 you donate, you get 1 entry. So the way it works is, after you've made your donation, you go ahead and send the confirmation email, which will show the amount that you donated, to trevorbtraffle@gmail.com. Once we've received that, you'll get a confirmation email from us letting you know that, hey, we got your entry, and here's how many tickets you have. I do need to get a roll of tickets, which I didn't think that I was going to need to or anything like that. But, the amount of support and goodwill that the community is putting out is awesome. But everybody will get assigned a raffle ticket number, and we'll do a live drawing at the beginning of July. So we are taking entries all the way up until 11:59 on June 30th, and that's Eastern time. And then on July 2nd, I believe it is, the first Saturday in July, we will be doing the drawing on my YouTube channel. And the winners will be notified by email as far as their, as far as what they've won, and we'll get in contact with them to find out, addresses and everything to send it to. So, right now we've raised around $200. I'm hoping, my goal for this was 1,000, but with the amount of stuff that's being given away with this, I mean, I can easily see it surpassing that. And like I said, with the community being full of such awesome people, I totally see this surpassing, $1,000. Otherwise, let's see. I mean, that's about it for most of the news. As far as and something I haven't covered in a while is commissions. Lately, I have been doing a couple commissions on the workbench here. So in addition to the miniatures that I'm painting for the raffle, I have painted up a binary of Clan Novacat Alpha Galaxy and Wolf's Dragoons Delta Company, or Delta Regiment, sorry. I think it's Delta. They're the ones that are pretty much tan. And all of them have come out wonderfully, and I'm hoping my client's going to like them a lot because these are awesome. If anybody does want commissions done or anything like that, feel free to contact me. I normally do it through Commissions by Carrie, but whatever works. If you just want to message me on my brain's all scattered today. I do apologize. If you want to message me on the Facebook group, the Unicorn Company Facebook group, go ahead and do that. Or if you want to join our Discord, we do have a Discord, and that also, the Trevor Company artists, the Trevor Project artists, they are putting up their work on there. I will be able to show off what they've been doing, because a lot of what they've been doing is pretty damn awesome. I mean, I don't know where to start with how great these people are and how much they've done as far as, just the art alone. And I'm really hoping that, I'm hoping that we make a difference, even if it's a little one, because this is for something really good. And I know I'm rambling, and I apologize. But, I mean, that's what I do on a podcast, right? I ramble. I talk to everybody about Battletech stuff. Oh my goodness. One other thing I wanted to cover. Apparently, I am canon. In Bonds of Battle, I believe it is, which comes with the Clan Invasion starter box. Give me a second. I gotta take a small drink. So the Clan Invasion starter box comes with a small little booklet by Blaine Pardo, a little short story, and in there it's before my name changed, but there I am, Chew Carrie Schumar of the Draconis Combine Mustard Soldiery. I mean, had I had my choice, I would be somewhere in the Fed Sons or the Nova Cats, but hey, I will gladly take being part of the people who end up poisoning the water on Constance, I believe it is. Because, at least in the Inner Sphere, there's war crimes, and then there's war crimes, and apparently we committed the minor of the two. But as far as I know, that also, it's pretty interesting that I've been playing Battletech since I was 14. I am 42. So I find it really interesting and really amazing that I have been canonized. And if anybody wants to do me a favor, I don't think Blaine was paying attention when he wrote the response from Carrie to David, and David refers to Carrie as a guy. So if anyone out there wants to do me a massive favor and write a story involving what's left of I forget what they're called, not the Home Guard. They had a special name. The Honor Guard. The Honor Guard poisoning the water supply, and just mentioning Carrie and her, or she, in the same sentence as far as referencing her, that would be awesome, even if I am the one to dump whatever got dumped into the water, at least it would kind of fix that little problem there. But so so of course on all my Discord stuff, except for the Unicorn Company Discord, I have gone and changed my title to 2E Carry. So if you see me there, you'll be able to recognize me pretty quickly. And yeah, you know, I still do have my not so soft spot in my heart for Blaine. And that's just because, yeah, I mean, it's, it is what it is. Other follow-ups, if any of you follow the YouTube channel, you will know that I did a review of the Wolfhound, the Wolfhound 2C, the exclusive miniature, which one of my people was so awesome to get to me. I really appreciate it. Patrick over in California actually got that to me. I am working on a custom post one for him, which I'll share photos in the Facebook group of. That miniature, I have to say this, while the miniature itself is pretty decently detailed, there's a little bit of flash. It's not a huge problem. First of all, I would totally have loved if the head were separate, because Patrick wants me to reposition the head, but looking at how they did it, it's not going to work. It's simply because they've embedded the head into the chassis, into the torso a little bit. And if you look at all the art, it's not embedded into the torso at all. So that's a slight problem. And quite frankly, it's a little bit too hard to dig that out and make it work. And other than that, I don't know what kind of resin they used for this, but it glues together horribly. I mean, I've worked with a lot of materials, so, as a follow-up onto all of everything I talked about in the video, if you've watched it, if you haven't, go ahead and check it out. It's on Unicorn Company podcast YouTube channel. The resin is just really, it's really soft. It reminds me of the soft plastic from the 3rd edition box set. And yeah, it totally does not like being glued together. It's very, very much like, yeah, no, you're not going to glue me together, at least not today. So, there is that. Otherwise, I think that's about it. And I've been rambling a little bit. And like I said, I really didn't have a script for today. I wanted to talk a little bit about the Alpha Strike tactics with the combination of the battle, fire, and recon lance, because that, in my opinion, is the classic Alpha Strike trio of units that gives you the most bang for your buck. But, I also want to talk about a few other things. And yeah, and of course, like I said at the beginning of the show, the executive officer of the Catalyst demo team did pass away, and that book that they've put out, which it's only $3.99. The Spotlight on books are awesome products. I do love them because they give you like little glimpses of units in certain eras. And it does go to help his family with taking care of his final expenses, which, so if you do have like $4 sitting around and you at least want to help out, go ahead and buy the book. It's worth it. I mean, not only because it's going to be a great product, but because of the fact that, it's something that's going to help his family. Oh boy. So getting away from the news and getting away from ranting about different products and being misgendered by Blaine, let's talk about an interesting little machine. Something that does not look like what you would think it is. And this would be the Hellstar. So first of all, I wanted to say that Miffed Kitty Minis sponsors our Mech Tech segments. Go ahead and check them out at bigcartel.miffedkittyminis.com. And Miffed Kitty Minis is all one word, so it's Big Cartel. But today we're going to talk about the Hellstar. The Hellstar is a 95-ton monster of a mech. And while a lot of people have been talking about the Regent lately because the Regent is the Omni Awesome, this is the Clan Standard Awesome. No other way to put it. So, of course, in the tech readout for it, it compares it to the Cygnus, which is in technical I can't remember which readout it came in first. the original one, but it was also in Tech Readout Jihad. And it compares it to the Cygnus, partially because it's a joint project between Clan Wolf and Exile and the Hell's Horses, which it's an interesting pairing, by the way. Like, you ever think about it? It's kind of weird, like the Hell's Horses and the Exiled Wolves being on the same page for anything. I mean, I guess maybe they both hated the Falcons and Vlad's Wolves bad enough to team up. But the Hellstar it's a 95-ton mech. It is supported by an endosteel structure powered by a 380 XL engine. It gets it up to speeds of, you can run at up to about 64 kilometers an hour. And it has 30 double heat sinks on this bad boy. So it has incredible heat dissipation, but there's a reason for this, and you'll get to it in a second. And also, it's why the Hellstar sort of lives up to its name, because after you account for these 30 double heat sinks, which take up, mind you, over 20% of its mass, you then have the armor. This thing is armored with 18.5 tons of armor. I don't think it's ferrofibrous. Let me check real quick. No, the standard armor. 18.5 tons of standard armor. So it's heavily armored. It can move pretty decently for a 95-tonner. And it has a lot of cooling capability. Now, why do we need all this cooling capability? What is there that makes it so beefy that it needs it? Well, like I said, it's the clan version of the Awesome, quite literally. It's a little bit heavier, obviously. It's faster. And it has 4 ERPPCs, which are each head killers. Each of them are head cappers themselves. They can blow the head off of an enemy mech. Now you have 4 of them. And it can fire all 4 of these every round and only build up, depending on if you walk or run, 1 or 2 heat. It has 1 in each arm and 1 in each side torso. So, like, the physical mech itself, the art for it, and any miniatures that I've seen for it are quite svelte. They're quite thin, and it has this huge, almost like gallery, or not skylight. I'm trying to think of the word here. It has a massive cockpit window. Like, when you look at it, they could have lopped off one of the sections of the cockpit window and it would have worked fine. But yeah, I mean, I want to say this was something that came out during the Clix era and then got transferred over to Battletech. I'm not sure, because it does have a lot of the aesthetic of the Clix mechs, of the hero or Mech Warrior Clix. The Mech Warrior Dark Age Clix game mechs has a lot of that aesthetic to it, with the armor plates and everything, and some exposed hydraulics from the look of it. But capability wise, I mean, it's an awesome unit. So this one here comes in at a pretty staggering 3,084 battle value. But then again, figuring you're not carrying ammunition, you have 4 head cappers on 1 mech. You're pretty heavily armored, and you have to take off a side torso plus an engine crit to kill it. Yeah, it's going to be a bear to kill. There are 2 variants. Excuse me. So, sorry about that. So the 2 variants came out at the same time. The first one is a slight modification, really. It adds a targeting computer, but removes 5 heat sinks. So it has to do a 3-4 barrage, where it does 3 and then 4, or 4 then 3 then 4 then 3. So it doesn't cook the pilot. It is way more accurate than its standard cousin, or standard sibling, whatever you want to call it. And then finally, you have the other variant that it rips out the PPCs for ER large lasers and has a targeting computer. It also has a pair of medium pulse lasers that give it a little bit of close-in firepower if it really needs that. I mean, I would say no. It's more than capable of killing things without them. And it does gain an active probe and ECM suite, making it capable of blocking C3 networks and also capable of finding hidden enemy units, which comes in handy when you're fighting in urban areas or stuff like that. And I don't know. I don't think the trade-off is as big as, or as good as it makes it seem. The standard with the 4 ERPPCs is just very deadly and very, very effective. I'm going to check real quick, see if I can find the battle values for those two. Give me 1 second. Okay, so the Hellstar 2 has a battle value of 3545, as if the Hellstar 1 was not expensive enough. And the Hellstar 3 is actually 3025 in BV, so it's less than the other two. But I don't know. It seems like you're losing some of that oomph with the ER larges, but I can't remember. Do they do? Oh no, they do. Oh no, they do 10 damage. So it won't rip the head off of an enemy mech, but it will make the pilot's butt pucker when that thing hits the head, because there's a possibility of a crit, and you could always just vaporize the pilot. So yeah, they're super effective designs. They're essentially the clan take on the awesome, and I like the art for it way better than I do for the standard awesome. So let us go into the Alpha Strike stats. This is my bread and butter. This is where we live. This is Alpha Strike. Alpha Strike is so... I like Alpha Strike so much. Yes. This is... I mean, yeah, I do cater to a little bit of both, but at its heart, this is an Alpha Strike based podcast. Sorry, everybody that is like head over heels for classic. This is what I prefer. Anyway, so let us get into the Hellstar in Alpha Strike. So the standard Hellstar has a point value of 55 points. And a little expensive, but not bad. Type is Battle Mech, size 4, target movement modifier of 1, role of sniper. Funnily enough, the standard Hellstar has short, medium, and long values of 6. So yes, this Alpha Strike card has 666 on the damage line on a mech called the Hellstar. Beautiful, isn't it? Attack is 10. Armor is 10. Structure is 5. It does not have an overheat value, and the only special ability it has is energy. So you're crit proof, except for, your ammo explosion proof. But, it's very effective. The Hellstar 2 is 56 points, type battle mech, size 4, target move of 1, roll sniper. Once again, we get the magic 666 on the damage line. It has an overheat value of 1. Remember, we ripped 5 double heat sinks out of this sucker, so... yeah. Now, the funny thing here is because of the targeting computer, the damage values go up a tiny bit, enough to give you 1 overheat and still maintain the 666. So for that 1 point, attack is, armor is 10, structure is 5. It has specials of energy and overheat long, so you can push it to a 777 if you feel like it. Beauty part here. This is a sniper that is scary. Most of the snipers are the 222 or 333. They're not really that scary. This thing, on the other hand, is just throwing the hot mess at you. It's totally scary and creepy and oh my God, it's on the other side of the table and it is flinging all the angry at me from across the table. You just can't get away from it. And then, mind you, though, it is slow. It's easy to hit, but oh my God, it's going to it's going to hurt on the way in. That sounded so wrong. Anyway, I guess phrasing, right? So then finally we have the Hellstar 3. Now remember how this was the cheapest one for battle value? Oh, I'm sorry, my chair is making all sorts of noise. This was the cheapest one for battle value, right? 3,025, I believe. point value for this one is 62 points. So this is the highest pointed one. And there's a reason for this, and we'll go into it in a moment. Type Battle Mech, size 4, target move of 1. Roll in this one is Brawler. This one has short and medium of 7, long of 5, so you're getting a little bit more punch at short and medium range. You're losing a little bit at long. No overheat value, armor 10, structure 5, just like before. The specials on this, and this is why it costs as much as it does, not because of that 775. Yeah, that does add a little bit to the point cost of the mech, because you are paying for the additional. Essentially, it works out you're paying for the additional 1 point of damage at either short or medium, because you remove 1 at long, and then you gain 1 back at short or medium, and then you add 1 more. No, where this is paying for its point cost at is that it's, as opposed to the other two, which are literally just beat sticks, you just hit your opponent with them till they're gone. It has ECM, energy, probe, and recon special abilities. So where the other one, the other two, you just hit somebody with it until they die. This one, you can block C3 networks, as I mentioned earlier. You do have the ability in built-up terrain to find enemies, which I guess is kind of useful for this, because in an urban environment, it would be a little bit more capable in that regard, whereas the other two would not. But you also are not very maneuverable. And Alpha Strike, for all my love of Alpha Strike, the only downside is you can't torso twist. You cannot put one of your arms to the back and shoot whatever's behind you. And there's a pretty good chance that you're going to end up getting flanked by somebody and getting shot in the back with this thing. You need to cover it with other units. So, like I was talking about battle lances before, this would be an awesome addition to, if you take the Brawler, it'd be an awesome addition to the Battle Lance. I don't want to take the Brawler, to be honest. You could also take this as essentially a direct fire support unit. Take it as a fire support unit, give it, I can't remember the special ability. It cuts down the ranges. Yeah, it's going to be in the open, but it's going to be able to just shoot the living, yeah. It's not going to be fun for your opponent. Because this thing, if you have this in the right kind of fire support lance, it's just going to tag everything at long range and make them wish so badly that they didn't have to deal with it. Depending on what format you're playing, like if you're playing where you can only have 2 of the same mech with 2, and they have to be variants, then you can have the standard and you can have the 2, and you have essentially 2 of the same mech. And you're meeting 2/3, I want to say it is, of the requirements for the fire support lance. So totally awesome, totally powerful. And yeah, so I do believe that there is an official miniature for this model, but I would highly recommend going to Miffed Kitty Minis. Like I said, bigcartel.miffedkittyminis.com. They have a proxy that works very well for this model called the Morning Star. And the Morning Star, beautiful looking model. And yeah, it's proportioned quite well compared to the Catalyst models. And, I would say that if you want something to represent this, go there, pick that up. It's like $8. And $5 for shipping, but every other additional item you buy is like 50 cents. So yeah, you can pretty quickly, get your money's worth through them. And like with this mech especially, this is awesome mech, and no pun intended there. It's more awesome than the awesome. So that is it for this evening. If you do like the podcast, please feel free to join our Patreon. The Patreon is patreon.com/Unicorn Company. Also, check us out on Facebook at the Unicorn Company, a Battletech podcast. And we are also on Discord. If you need a link to the Discord server, there should be one in the Facebook group. And until next time, I hope that everybody here has a great day, great evening, great whatever it is where you are. So, yeah. Y'all have a good one. This is Carrie signing off.